It might be a little surprising that Battletoads turned out well, since everything we've seen or heard from it up to this point indicated that it very much wouldn't. The next entry in Rare's cult classic brawler series, Battletoads, was announced last year, and when we initially saw it, it looked pretty bad, especially put next to other classic brawler revivals announced around the same time, such as Streets of Rage 4. And then Battletoads just sort of disappeared, and wasn't seen or heard from for a while, causing most people to forget about it, or worse, associate it with its rather poor initial showing. Those who have kept up with the game, however, would know that the pieces were coming together for this game to actually turn out well, since recent showings of the game have been far more encouraging. To those people at least, it won't come as a shock to learn that the new Battletoads is very good, almost surprisingly so in fact. While it has some critical shortcomings that I do think hold it back from realizing its full potential, the game is a thoroughly entertaining brawler that seems to deftly walk the line between accessibility and depth, managing to have a lot of incentives to encourage replays, and even comes together on other fronts, such as its surprisingly pleasing art style and its sharp and witty writing.
Solved it!
Solve what?
Come in, brothers. Are we brothers? We never talk about it. Doesn't matter. Take a seat, I'll stand. No. You stand, I'll sit. Everyone stands. Listen, I've been up all night mimicking the methods of TV detectives. Tracking, triangulating, enhance, and I pinpointed the precise location of the Dark Queen.
That meta humor actually makes an incredibly strong first impression, and helps buoy the game a whole lot. Without getting into the specifics, all I will say is that the game is acutely aware of the passage of time between the last Battletoads game and this one, and the relevance, or lack thereof, that the Battletoads have in today's day and age, and that it uses those things to drive a lot of its humor. Not all jokes land, and some feel a bit juvenile and crude, or just fall flat, but on the whole, the humor and wit is definitely a point in the game's favor. Where the game is impressive without caveats is on the combat front. It's deceptively easy, but it racks on layer upon layer of complexity, slowly introducing the player to all sorts of mechanics and moves, without ever overwhelming them. Between the combos you can execute with one character, the ability to tag in and out of whatever character you want at any time you want, this actually helps extend your combos further, and the extremely well-differentiated enemy types, each of whom require totally different strategies to take down. Seriously, there is more enemy variety in the first act of Battletoads than there is for many games, period. You are basically guaranteed extremely deep, varied, and engaging brawler combat throughout the entire game. There are other aspects of the gameplay that don't necessarily hold up though. The hacking minigames, which involve either routing electricity to gates blocking your progress to open them up, or disabling security, are extremely easy and uninteresting, but require just enough time and engagement on the player's part to veer into being actively annoying, especially since they get in the way of the actual fun parts of this game. Other distractions from the combat, such as the high-octane biking, are much more fun. While they remain reasonably simplistic all said and done, they add enough wrinkles on top of one another to keep things unpredictable and exciting, at the bare minimum, and at their best, they can be really thrilling on their own. Battletoads is also a champion of local co-op, and up to 3 players can play together, brawling their way through the waves of enemies and bosses the game throws their way. The game excels in local co-op, and is incredibly fun with friends, especially with the chaos of 3 Battletoads and a whole lot of enemies all unleashing their attacks at once. Co-op also helps keep some encounters in the game much more manageable, though there is nothing in this game that you can't get through as a solo player. That, by the way, is a good thing, because in a shocking omission for a brawler and perhaps more still a Microsoft game, Battletoads does not have online co-op. It has co-op, and it has online functionality, but it somehow does not have online co-op, which is a pretty major shortcoming for a brawler at the best of times, but can be a critical one in the present context. Like I said, the game remains really fun and engaging solo as well, but you are absolutely not getting the co-op experience short of having people sit by your side in the same room as you. I don't understand how this decision was made, because it feels like such a basic and yet significant thing to overlook under any context. How is a brawler, in today's day and age, released without online co-op? There's always the possibility that this problem is addressed post-launch, of course, but given the game was already delayed, it feels a bit perplexing that it didn't launch with this functionality to begin with. While the lack of online functionality is definitely a significant mark against this game, like I said, it does not take away from how fun and surprisingly engaging Battletoads is in any other context. Local co-op is, of course, ideal, but even if you're playing it by yourself, this is definitely a game that holds your attention, while also being ideally suited to simply picking it up and dropping out of it whenever you want, without necessarily needing long play sessions that you need to invest into it. The missing online co-op is especially a shame in that context, because other than that, whatever caveats and shortcomings I mention are pretty minor and easy to overlook. The game's sharp art style, clever dialogue, and incredibly deep and exhilarating gameplay make for a potent package. It's just one that a lot of people can't enjoy to the fullest. Be that as it may, however, Battletoads' grand return is definitely a triumph. It may not be as convincing as it could have been, but the new game definitely demonstrates the IP still has a place in today's market, and delivers a really fun experience that stands on its own merits as well. The Battletoads are back. I hope this time they're here to stay, and we can see further games starring them that build on the successes of this one.
And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from Gaming Bolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.